Welcome to Topography, brought to you by viewers like you. Again, shout outs to Matt Miller for the use of the camera. Today's episode, I told you all I was going to do 2 episodes of Topography since you all wanted that. We're going to be looking at the farm. It's the outdoor map that came with the Superman Fast Forces. You might be wondering why the colossals on the field. Well, they're a little bit easier to see from what I've noticed, and I don't have to zoom in as much. So you might end up seeing more colossals or bigger characters in the future or not. All depends on your feedback and how you want me to continue with this. So with that being said, let's get started. This probably won't be a super long video because this map is pretty straightforward. That's the main reason I picked it. We're going to start off over here with the classic Sentinel that is, of course, collecting so much dust right now. You're on the bottom end of the map. Again, we usually call the top end of the map where we see the letters at, and the bottom end is, again, where the lower numbers are at. You have a atypical starting area. Your starting area is pretty much compiled in this corner. Now, why would you want a starting area like that? Let's say specifically if you have the ability to choose this map and you are running a swarm team and you have a lot of figures, you have an option of sort of saying like, okay, I really want to rush down my opponent, then I want to be able to extend my starting area forward that many squares and have some form of immunity to give me advantage. So if you had like a whole bunch of little paw guys or whatever, plus Hydra agents or Moloids or whatever, it gives you a lot of advantages. Also, having this little house here, or wherever the heck that is, tractor. I thought it was a house, my bad. The house is over there. Anyway, but the tractor, it gives you a set of blocking terrain to sort of post up behind. That could give you an advantage when dealing with some incoming fodder. So you have a good setup, you have a good cycle deployment, because if you are trying to move forward on the map in this section right here, if you have a lot of stealth or characters that are able to ignore hindering terrain, moving through this crop field is probably your best option. Now, if you have a whole lot of grounded figures, this is a bad idea. This is like your worst starting area to be in, because you would have to make the long way around, which really would make your starting area focus being right in this part right here, which is a huge problem. Definitely when you're looking at putting the majority of your figures in E and F, 23 and 24. Those sections right there. So just something to think about. If you have a figure that relies on, or powers that rely on a lot of blocking terrain, this is your only blocking terrain in the entire map, which could cause you some problems. So if you have some cool effect and you can make your opponent come to you, then, bam, you're good to go. Okay, so if we start to direct ourselves to the other starting area, which is where the Phoenix Buster is at, and so I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera slightly. Where the Phoenix Buster is at, we can see several cool things. First off is we have some elevated terrain right here that's directly adjacent to the starting area, which means that automatically this position is set up for you to have a sniper range of the entire map, or at least for a good part of the first half of the map over here towards your starting area. Okay, so you have elevated here, and of course you can shoot from elevation 2 to elevation 2 directly. So you could pretty much, if you want to turtle with your range figures, you could do that really hard from these 2 positions. So this starting over here near the top of the key is probably one of your better options to pick from. Now, take for example where the new Mark II Sentinel is. Toys R Us exclusive, baby, full of dust. That's how we roll, because we don't hardly play Colossals, except for maybe tonight. I might play some Colossals tonight because I don't care about the prize. he is in a very sort of opportune spot, because in this section over here, we can see with the two sections of elevated terrain sort of, providing us this little wall here, we can either create a funnel to force our opponent to fight in a small space, or utilize the elevated terrain to try to create some sort of kill box area or death trap with whatever bait we have inside of here. Now, note, I am saying that because some people might look at that lower part of the map and think like, hey, Dark Logos, who's stupid enough to go into there knowing that I have snipers here and here? This isn't real life. I have full view of the battlefield. Well, if someone's trying to chase down a high value target to kill it, trust me, people will do all sorts of dumb things in heroclix. I played this game long enough, so I could definitely tell you that. But definitely be mindful is this area here can be a major threat, because you're able to get lines of fire from all the way over here, the square over here, into this area. You have this elevation here that can see into this area, and this elevation up here that can see into this area. If you are able to solidify these three buildings, it's pretty much a wrap. If you can get someone down in there. And even if you solidify these two buildings right here, you can control over 2/3 of the map just by being on the higher ground with elevation. Now note, yes, you too can be shot, but again, with the magical power of running shot, you can always choose to come up to the edge whenever you want to. So that is something to think about as well. So we're going to go back to the other side of the map, and we're just going to notice some things in particular real briefly. The 3 strips of cornfields over here, these are nice for you to sort of bob and weave through. If you want to get the effects of stealth without, you don't have the ability to ignore hindering terrain, you can sort of just like, oh, I'm right here. So your lines of fire have to cross through that unless they're on elevated. If you're looking for a counterplay to the high elevation and you do have stealth snipers, then this would be a really good position to manipulate. Okay? Overall, it's an older map. I know a lot of people had problems getting the Superman Fast Forces. If you do have it, break it out. It's a good solid map to bring out. Definitely if your opponent is not tactically aware. Really, if your opponent is not tactically aware. If you want to try to abuse the fact of, hey, I want to start on elevated terrain, let me bring a whole bunch of little dudes, and man, you can extend your starting area forward and start on elevated terrain if you start at the top of the key, or more so start into hindering if your team so needs to be a little bit on the bottom of the map. So overall, I think that this map, and I pretty much didn't show you all that. Anyway, these are the cornfields I was talking about before. I got to get used to, again, camera management. But overall, I think that this map has a lot of distinct advantages. I also think it's sort of a cool map for Colossals, because the Colossals are able to utilize the elevation and able to shoot the characters on multiple elevations, giving them a lot more leeway than a lot of people may think. So Giants and Colossals, they're not completely suck. They have their advantages, but definitely this section right here, where I call him the Frost Sentinel, because technically that's what he looks like to me, just a frosty sentinel. And he had like my ice blast thing broke, so that's why he doesn't have anything in his hand. But this section right here is nice because you can protect your Colossals against the non-flyers, because you have to be a flyer to get on this elevation here, because your transition to elevated terrain is right here. So just again, some minor points. All right, that's it for episode 3 of Topography. I know it's a short episode just dealing with this map. I will have another episode following this. If you would like to donate to the show, you can go to startingoverpodcast.blogspot.com and click on the donate button. Startingoverpodcast.blogspot.com. If you want to do music for this show, because this show does not have any intro music or outro music, let me know, and we can talk. Or if you want to do a particular graphic for the show, if you think, hey, I can make something really cool for the show, let me know. Also, shout outs to Joachim Adler. He is putting out a heroclix map website. I don't know it right now, but I should know it here soon, or I'll put it up on Twitter. And he's putting out the pure grids of the maps without like all the artwork, so he doesn't get sued by anybody. So definitely a good resource as well. So all right, anyway, that's it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.